So solving a formula for one of its variables. By solving a formula for a different variable, we can see how the quantities are related to each other in different ways or from a different perspective. This is another use of algebra that helps us be able to see relationships a little differently between quantities. So it's one of the relationships that says that the circumference c of a circle with diameter d is given by the formula c equals pi d. So translate that. And again, in English, so when I translate this, it's basically reading the algebra. Instead of c equals pi d, it's just basically reading the algebra for what the quantities are representing. So the circumference of a circle, that's c, is pi times its diameter. So if we solve this for pi, then I need to think of it as in terms of composition. If we solve for pi, then the goal, and I'll just write this over here a little bit bigger. I get c equals pi times d. So my goal when I want to solve for pi is to get just pi by itself on one side. So I notice on the right side, I have an extra factor because it's times d. And the only way I can get rid of factors is by attaching reciprocal factors to cancel. So that means I need to attach a reciprocal factor to cancel here. So it looks like I get c over d equals pi. All right, so again, it's the same goals we had before. And if we translate this formula, this is just another way to write our relationship, right? C over d equals pi. If we translate the formula, you might see it here like this. So pi is the ratio of the circumference of a circle and its diameter. And this was the actual relationship that came up first. It was pretty tough to actually see this, but this is what defines pi as a number. If we take the circumference of a circle and divide it by its diameter, we get pi. So by solving formulas for different variables, we can get a different perspective on how the quantities are related to each other. So here's another example. Solve the following formula for the indicated variable. So I have a plus b plus c equals 180. And if we want to solve for a, then I have to think of this as my goal. My goal is to get eventually a equaling something. So when I look back at the composition, I notice on the left side I have 3 terms, and a is one of those terms. So I got an extra term of b. Well, I want to zero that out, so I know I need to attach a negative b and a negative c to both sides. So I'm going to get a equals 180. Then I have these 2 terms attached, a negative b and a negative c. And this now would be solved for a. All right, so I'm going to stop there, and then I'll go through more examples of solving formulas for indicated variables next.